Yo, what's crack-a-lackin'? How's everyone doing today? Second live stream of the day as advertised. If you're new to the channel, I say welcome. If you haven't already, like this video, hit subscribe. Guys, pinned in the comment section, join our Johnny Says Boxing VIP Insider group. We started this a little while ago. We're up to about 280 insiders. This is our private betting Discord, guys. The link is pinned in the comment section. It's a couple bucks a month. This is one of those fights where, obviously, I'm talking about Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. I uploaded my breakdown prediction of the fight, and it's causing. We knew going into this. We knew going into this it's gonna be one of those fights where it's gonna cause a lot of division. So if you haven't watched my video, it's uploaded on the channel. Go to my fight prediction playlist. Stats don't lie. I just uploaded my analysis breakdown prediction of Norman Jr. versus Haney. I'll be uploading Bam Rodriguez versus Puma. I'll be uploading Abdullah Mason versus Noakes, as well as Benavidez versus Anthony Yard. So stay tuned. We have Harlem Eubank fighting this Friday. So there's a lot to talk about. Devin versus Brian, it's causing a lot of uproar, which is great. GK is in our Discord. I'm sure GK will be on this live. I want to bring GK on and debate me because what he's doing so far, he's making his case. He's making his case. He thinks that Haney, a fair point. He thinks Haney's gonna be able to neutralize Brian Norman Jr. with his jab. I highly doubt it. I'm going really heavy on Norman Jr. to beat Haney pretty convincingly. So what I want to show you so this is GK. He shares a 10-second clip of a 12-round fight. Probably the only 10 seconds of Haney looking okay. This is it. This is against Ramirez. That's all. That's all. Not a lot here. He landed 70 punches in 12 rounds. He's fighting a pretty shot Jose Ramirez. And GK is going to put the house on the fact that he thought that this was a good performance. Jose Ramirez hasn't been the same guy since, I'd probably say, the Maurice Hooker fight. You know, Jose Ramirez was his best maybe 10 years ago. You know, only 33 years old. You know, hey, former world champion. I don't see it. I see a really flat-footed, really one-dimensional Jose Ramirez in that fight. Performance in that fight. I think Norman handles him pretty convincingly. I got to be honest with you. I don't like Devin's feet. Devin's inactivity. Since Regis, he's only fought 3 times. This will be Norman's 3rd fight in 2025. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Damu Brat, the boxing god. You the man. You the man or the women. Appreciate you. Let's get into this. Let me hear. So Luis says he's going to put the mortgage on Haney. That is an interesting proposition to bet the mortgage on Haney. And so it's good to see a lot of Haney fans. So I'm not a Haney hater. I just don't see him winning this fight. This is Brian Norman Jr. 5 fights ago against Quentin Randall. Randall was 13-0. He beat Quentin Randall here. The thing about Brian Norman Jr., guys, at 24 years old, you know, I'm gonna obviously be answering these questions all week until after he beats Haney. You guys have put me into this corner. You guys have done this to me. So I'll be asking and answering these questions all week, leading up to fight night, and then after Norman probably stops Haney. But with Brian Norman Jr., you have a 24-year-old kid who continuously is leveling up. People are going to point out the Quentin Randall fight. Don't just put the Quentin Randall fight. Let me see Janelson Boca Chica. You know, he got cracked against Janelson Boca Chica. And he was 21 years old, 20 years old, 21. And then in the last few years, we've seen what he's looked like against Santian, we've seen what he looks like against Derek Cuevas. We've seen what he looked like against Jin Sasaki. Look, we could do our boxing maths. I'm not a boxing math guy. I'm a strategy guy. I'm a technical guy. I'm a statistics guy. Like I talked about, when we're looking at the bigger picture, the broader picture of this fight, what's presented to us at 147, where the fighters have come over the last 2-3 years in their career, there is no way I'm betting a penny on Devin Haney. I told you guys in my breakdown, I will bet I'm this is where we differ. And I'm not a Devin Haney hater. From a betting perspective, I will go down with a burning ship betting everything on the slugger than on somebody who fights so negatively like Devin Haney. So if I lose, I lose. But I'm not going to sit there and bet on Devin Haney and lose watching him do what he does. So that's I don't think his jab is that good. I don't think his feet, he's fast and he has good reflexes, but it's not it's not classy work. When you watch Devin Haney operate, we're not talking about Shakur Stevenson. When you're watching Shakur operate, you're watching a savant. You're watching a smooth operator in the pocket. You're watching Shakur Stevenson, who just has poise under pressure, just rolling with things and countering. When you're watching Devin Haney operate, you're watching a really athletically gifted guy who, as of late, in this version, does not look comfortable in there, doesn't have settled feet. His feet have trauma. His eyes have trauma. I think Norman is going to handle Haney pretty easily, and only time will tell. There's going to come a point in this fight where Haney's going to have to sit down on something and punch with Norman. I think Norman stops him. You Uncle Elroy's son. Elroy's son. I'm politicking with Don Julio. What's crack-a-lagging? What's up, bro? What's your take on Nakano versus Reese Ali? Last time I saw Reese fight, he got he's class. He got beat against Sam Goodman. I was at that fight. I like Reese Ali. I don't know. I'll talk about that fight. Ask me in like 2 days, Don Julio. Oye, Don Julio. Dormemi dos más días, mijo. Solamente. Dormemi dos más días. Aquí solamente Norman Jr. y Devin Haney, por favor. Gracias. Randall Light, my guy. What's crack-a-lacking? Look, there's going to be some divisiveness this week. We know it, and we're all good. We're not doing it ignorantly. We're not doing it too brash. We're doing it respectively. We can't just pick we can't agree on everything. Like I said, there's a certain fighter. We cheer for fighters for specific reasons. I'm not cheering for fighters to tell you I'm picking one because I'm a bigger fan. The trajectory, I mean, it's good luck betting on Haney. That's all I'm saying. Good luck betting on him. Norman's check left hook is going to hurt Haney, and that's 6 Norman hits Santian with what. This is what I'm talking about, guys. We have to ask ourselves, how high do you rate Ryan Garcia? Depending where you are in the world, I know you're going to get mixed answers. Me personally, being an old head, I'm an old head, dude. I remember watching Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm 43, Sugar Ray Leonard. I watch all the old fights. I go back to the 50s and watch these fights. Ryan Garcia is domestic American level at best. I wouldn't put Garcia's skill set, his toolbox, at the world level. He's never become a world champion for a reason. He's stopped evolving in the amateurs. He's added nothing to his game. My point is, Garcia, with no setups, with just speed in that hook, was catching Haney time and time again. Brian Norman Jr. is going to land his left hook, and Haney's not going to get up. Yeah, we talked about this. Bam's talking about retiring in his last interview, and he's looking a little chubby in the face. Puma is solid, leaning on the over. Puma is a hungry, undefeated Argentinian fighter. I've been watching Puma for a while. Doesn't have a lot of crack, but he's classy. Bam Rodriguez, though, hasn't just been talking about retiring in his last interview, Julius. This is how the Francos roll. His brother Josh Franco retired early. Bam said he wanted. I've heard Bam talk. He's 26 now. He said he wants to be retired before 28, I think, 30. So this guy hates Haney. Okay, does this sound like a guy who hates Haney? I bet on Devin against Ramirez. I won money. I bet on Devin against Ryan. I lost money. I bet on Devin against Regis. I won money. I bet on Devin against Lomachenko. I won money. I don't hate Devin Haney. I probably know, I guarantee Billions, I know way more about Haney than you know about Haney. So my point is the fact that when I'm looking at strategy, setups, exits, entrances, how a guy's punch resistance is, the willingness to execute a game plan. The second he got hit against Ryan, the game plan went out the window. His ability to circumnavigate a plan B went out the window, and he went full on survival mode. Now, if you watch my breakdown, I give Haney a lot of props, man. He toughed it out. The kid is all heart. Devin's not going to quit on himself. He's not. You're going to have to hit him with everything to get him out of there. This is at 147. He takes if he tries a hook with a hooker, he's getting starched. He's getting knocked out. And I don't trust his jab enough to work it and disrupt Norman the entire fight. People are saying he's going to use the jab. He's going to disrupt Norman the entire fight. If that's the case, you're going to then expect Norman to not have a plan B. You're going to expect Norman to not be able to make adjustments. Brian Norman Jr. has a high fight IQ, smarter. Watching him level up, specifically defensively, from the shot he took against Janelson to the shot he landed against Santillan to the shot he took. For instance, rewatch the Derek Cuevas fight. Billions. Sure you didn't watch this fight. Maybe you watched it. But Derek Cuevas was a big puncher. He was supposed to be the guy to really challenge Norman again with his jaw. And at the end of the second round, Norman did get clipped. He didn't get rattled, but he got clipped. And his hands were here, though. You know, not quite here, but they were here. And they weren't here. Like, again, when he got clipped against Janelson, he was backing Janelson up against the ropes and just had his chin here. And Janelson throws a snappy, boom, straight right hand punching down, chopped him. It was, whoo! It was freaking brutal. His hands were down, though. His head was on the center line. Against Cuevas, it got through, but he was here, and he kind of went like here with it, and then he ended up stopping Cuevas. And so you guys, Bill, you guys are the same guys who said Sasaki was going to challenge him. And I'm the same guy on my channel. We hit a plus 650 with taking Brian in the under 6 rounds by stoppage against Sasaki. Sasaki was, you guys try to rewrite history. What was he, 26-1? His only loss was to Andy Hiroka. People are like, Norman hasn't fought anyone like Sasaki. Sasaki could punch. Norman's not going to be able to handle the pressure. You guys said that against, you said Cuevas was going to be the biggest puncher. You guys said Santillan, who was the favorite against Norman, was going to be too classy. My point is, Norman's only 24 years old. When I'm watching a fighter who keeps evolving, leveling up, you mix that with him being the world champion, him having the confidence that he has, the kid's mentality, his mindset. He doesn't care about social media. He doesn't care about being famous. He doesn't care about all these little things that might not seem like issues, but they are small little fractions of variables when you're in a fight face to face and you start doubting yourself. We've seen this with Devin. You're going to tell me, you're going to show me highlights of Devin versus Ramirez, and you're going to be excited about that fight? You're going to show me highlights of Devin versus Ramirez, and you're going to use that fight to bet on Haney? You guys, cue the music. Where's Crucial Conflict when we need them? Smoking on hay. Hey, in the middle of the barn. Smoking on hay. That's all I'm going to say, boy. You got me hype. I don't even like getting this hype. I don't even like it. I try to keep it copacetic, but you guys got me hype on it. Where we at? I gotta refocus. Jin was a human punching bag. Absolutely no. Yeah, but dude, we knew all that, Julius. He was a human punching bag, but it had worked. It had worked until it didn't work. Speaking of human punching bags, have you guys taped Sam Noakes? Anybody taped Sam Noakes? Sam Noakes does not move his head. Sam Noakes is coming in there like, he's like, Mason's going to be like this, tap, tap. I just hope Mason doesn't set up that rear uppercut again like he did against Vasquez with no setup. Hopefully Mason hides that upper. He loves that uppercut. My man goes to the well whenever he wants to with it. So I'm taking Mason. I'm taking Della. Northeast Ohio in the house. I'm probably taking Mason by stoppage, but there is some hesitation on that fight. And the hesitation is, you got to think Sam Noakes is looking for that uppercut. Orthodox versus Southpaw. Vasquez landed it twice, and Mason didn't make adjustments, get dropped twice. but he then went out there and stopped him. So anybody take Noakes? Noakes' head movement is something not to be admired. What if Norman loses? What would that mean for his career? Everything by John was gravy. My dad used to say, John, I'd be like, Dad, what if we lose tonight? My dad would be like, Johnny, what if my aunt had a dick? She'd be my uncle. So when I see what ifs, I kind of laugh. But you're right. What if Norman loses? What would that mean? That would mean if he loses at 24 and loses his belt, that'd be probably a good thing for his career. I'm an optimist. 24 years old, man. That's a young kid. You know, sometimes the best things come out of losses. Sometimes, you know, I talked about this with Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. The last thing you ever want to do is learn about your flaws in the boxing ring in a world title fight. And this is why a fighter is maneuvered throughout their career by their team, by their camp, by their coach really does matter, because this is a big problem with modern day boxing, is because up until this era, the way a fighter would move up until they would get a world title shot, you would see the fighter how they would do against a slugger, you would see how they would do against an orthodox fighter, against a southpaw, you would see how they would do against a counter boxer, you would see how they would do against a mover, you would see how they would do against you know, all these different styles. And as you're taking this fighter, you would show, and then you'd be, all right, we got a guy, and then you would level them up. All this shit's expedited now. We live in, you know, microwave culture, call it what you will. People are missing steps in the growth of a fighter. And we've seen this time and time again when fighters have stepped up and they've been kind of rushed. And I'm just hoping that's not the case. Norman's already world champion, so I'm kind of talking about Mason here. Mason's only 21. Hopefully we didn't skip any steps with him, because I really think Abdullah Mason is special. He's just still young. But with Norman, you know, world champion, 24 years old. Before Xander Zayas, he was the youngest world champion in boxing, male, excluding Gabby. But, you know, a loss doesn't... Dude, my favorite fighters had multiple losses. I'll never forget when Ray Boom Boom Mancini, 1980, Ray was 21 years old from Youngstown, Ohio. As a 20-year-old, 20 or 21, he fought Alexis Arguello. Arguello had 70 pro fights. Ray Mancini, as a 20-year-old kid, fought Arguello in a war. I think he got stopped in the 14th round, something along those lines. Dude, Ray ended up having a handful of losses. There's 2 losses to Livingston Bramble. So, you know, look at Duran's record. Look at Sugar Ray Leonard's record. You don't get out unscathed. If you're fighting the best in the world, you're not going to get out unscathed. It's only a new thing, Floyd Mayweather era, that having an O even matters. Disregard all that stuff. If Norman loses and he gets exposed in any way, you got to think he's the type of guy to hit the gym and level up and just, you know, work on those flaws. I haven't seen that with the other side. I haven't watching Devin Haney, you know, since Regis, Devin Haney, this will be Devin's 3rd fight since Regis. That's not a lot of activity, man. You know, he fights Regis, he fights Ryan, he takes a year off, fights Ramirez, and looks real flat. Looks scared. His legs look traumatic to me. His movement looks suspect to me. And now he's fighting Norman. Meanwhile, Norman, this will be his 3rd fight in 2025. Dude, stay active. So when we're talking about Brian Norman Jr.'s, or when we're talking about Devin Haney's skill set, his strengths, you're going to give me his speed, you're going to give me his reflexes, and I'm going to say you're 100% right. But his fastest, in my opinion, was against Jorge Linares. That was, what, 2021? Almost 5 years ago. He's, what, 22 years old then? 23 years old. He just turned 27. The first thing to go with men in terms of human performance is what? Speed and reflexes. The last thing to go is power. This guy has relied on his speed and reflexes his entire career. This is his first real fight at 147. If those are his strengths, and you're going to think he's going to use that jab, which is not that good, you know, in terms of he throws, the right hand drops, he gets countered. I mean, good luck betting on him. Like I said, I'd rather go down in the burning house with Brian Norman Jr. with a 24-year-old kid, undefeated slugging world champion at plus money, than put a dime on Devin Haney based on the stylistic matchup. I'm not going to bet the house on a kid using his jab the entire time and using the whole ring, hoping that we see the guy against Linares. I mean, that was, what was the fastest version of Devin? Vaughn the plug. Vaughn, what plug we talking, Playboy? Shit. Boots said Norman wasn't that good. Norman's sparring partner said he was slow, and Devin ain't going to take a fight that he can't win. Remember, Bill's a good matchmaker. Remember, so Boots said Norman wasn't that good because they were supposed to fight. Norman's sparring partner was LaManna. Cornflake, get your ass out the Cornflake, get your punk ass out the gym. Cornflake's a promoter, remember that. And then Devin, Bill didn't dude, Devin and Bill were made to take this fight. Turkey Al Sheik, Tom and Jerry fights. Remember that tweet. Turkey Al Sheik, Tom and Jerry fights. Remember that tweet. That's all I'm gonna say. Bill and Devin didn't want this fight. That's real rap. Devin wanted that. Devin wanted that Garcia fight. Haney wins this one on points. Norman got holes. Bars. Good luck, Katie. Willie Wonka, what's up, Johnny? You think Norman go? I think I think Devin could win a decision. I think Norman could win a decision just because I'm taking Norman on the money line. But guys, peep game on this. This is real rap. Whatever way you're feeling on this one. If you're taking Brian, wait until the weekend to put your money on the fights because the odds are already shifting. They're already shifting in Devin's favor. So if you're on Team Norman, like for me, I'm gonna put all my money Friday night on Brian. If you're on Team Haney, put your money in now because the odds are just going to get worse for him. Because all the money's going to be coming in on... Look, it's already shifting. Okay, so this book has Brian at $1.88 and Devin at $2.05. If you guys are in Australia, go to Bet365. It's literally a 50-50 right now. If you watch my breakdown, I give you the odds in my Stats Don't Lie video. It's $1.86 both sides. So... Devin Haney, even though he's not the champion, he's the A side here. He's the more well-known name, the celebrity of sorts. So as we get closer to fight nights, we're going to have the tweets. We're going to have the Drakes of the world. We're going to have the celebrities tweeting. We're probably going to rumors of who's walking who out. So all of this sort of casual money is going to be coming on Devin Haney. So if you like Devin Haney, take it now. And if you want Brian Norman Jr., trust me, wait. I could see Brian winning a decision. I could see Devin winning a decision. I could also see Brian stopping Devin. But the thing is, to stop Devin's a tough fighter. So if you're new to my channel, you might be kind of confused on my take here. Even though I'm saying he's going to lose, you're like, why is this guy also complimenting him? Because I'm not a hater. I'm not a Devin Haney hater. He's a hell of a fighter. Speed, reflexes. You talk about Norman's holes. I see a lot of holes in Haney's game. Okay, here's another thing no one's talking about. Devin Haney's inside game is not that good. How comfortable does Devin Haney look in the pocket? You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some exchanges. Norman Jr. is going to force Devin to fight in that goddamn pocket. And Bill's going to be like, Devin, get your ass out the pocket. You could tell Devin doesn't train a lot or has a lot of sparring partners where he's comfortable in the pocket, catching, countering, hitting the body up top, clinching. What Devin's going to do is want to, jab and grab, and he hopes for the reset. He doesn't like cooking in the pocket. So that's something to also think about. And don't get it twisted. Haney did not ask for this fight. Whoever's spreading that narrative that's just wrong. Randall Light, Haney don't want this fight. Looks scared. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't even read this tweet, this comment from Rando, but this is exactly right. I've noticed Devin Haney supporters are saying he asked for this. That's not true. Haney and Bill did not ask for this fight. This is they don't have the same leverage that they had before the Ryan Garcia fight. So somebody stated earlier that Devin Haney and Bill, they don't take fights unless they think they can win. Yeah, that was before the Ryan Garcia fight. Leverage is a thing. That was before Turkey Al Sheik. This is like, yo, you want these big fights again, big dog? You want to have a main event again in Vegas? Go fight Norman Jr. and see what time it really is. And don't run. And we're going to see. They're going to learn today. They're going to learn about some dick today, boy. I saw Cornflake videos, Greg Hackett. Nah, Mankey, I just saw it today, big dog. I just watched Thomas LaManna 6 hours ago talking trash. Not talking trash. He was just saying that Norman Jr. is slow. He was saying that Norman Jr. was slow. Muy despacio. No rápido, por favor. Solamente despacio, mijo. That only works if Norman had... Dude, Norman's feet are decent, man. What are we talking about? Norman got quick feet. How come everybody's all of a sudden thinking Brian Norman Jr. got, like, Ryan Garcia feet? If that's your narrative, mate, okay, Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has day one footwork. No lateral movement, doesn't use the ring, doesn't go side to side, flat-footed, showcases everything he wants to do, writes a telegraph, sends an email, prints a postcard stamp, tells everybody he's throwing his left hook, and he actually was landing it time and time again. Dude, you need to watch more Brian Norman Jr., mate. Brian Norman Jr. can move. My man, Joey, how do I join the Discord? I just signed up with you. So, Joey, go to my main face on YouTube. You guys now have a separate section that says posts members only. In the members only section, you'll see the Discord link. If you have any questions, send me a message. Still good. My official pick is over 10.5 for Norman Haney. If Quentin Randall was 13-0, mate. Why are we hating? I love this. I love this, Julius. This is one of those fights where everyone gets hit with strays. Why? So, who are the boys in the Discord hitting Quentin Randall with strays out here? Let me show you. Let me show you something. And guys, you got to admit, man, even if you're not a Brian Norman Jr. fan, this is a dude that he's not the same guy he was at 21, 22 years old. He wasn't a really highly touted guy. So a lot of these narratives are based around who he was at 21, at 22. Some fighters get better. Some fighters degrade. Some fighters stay the same. With that in mind, that's our equation. Brian Norman Jr. is continuously getting better. No shade on Devin, but to me, he looks like he's degrading. So when you watch the Quentin Randall fight, he's not going to be the same guy. When you watch the Gio fight, he's not going to be the same guy. Dude, it was the Janelson knockdown for me, though, mate. Dude, one of the most prettiest right hands. I'm gonna pull it up and see if I don't get flagged. If you guys didn't see it, one of the here we go. So I'm gonna show. Yeah, Quentin Randall was 13-0. Why is Quentin getting hit with? Why are we hitting him with all these stray bullets? And since that fight, you know, he's gone 2-2. He was undefeated though when he fought Brian. He was an old head too. Crispy Chris, my guy. What's up, Crispy? Chloe in the house. KD, Haney's levels above her. Yeah, but KD, you see my point. K-Doe official. K-Doe. That's a solid name. KDO. You see my point, though. This was years ago. The version of, put it this way, the version of Haney who fought Regis is probably the same guy. Maybe not, because he's probably degraded a bit because of the Ryan fight. The version of Brian Norman who fought Jin Sasaki, you better expect a better version. Euro Nunez, mate. Appreciate the new sub. Guys, get in the Discord. Let me show you free game real quick. All right, guys. So Gyro Nunez just joined. Joey just joined. To get the link in the Discord, click the link that's pinned. It's a couple bucks a month. Guys, our Discord isn't just boxing. So our Discord, I'm going to take you a little tour real quick. I'd like to welcome everybody to Carolina West. My name is Tad Dow. I run this motherfucker. So this is the best. So we got MMA. We got the NBA. We got American football. We got my level 3 fitness, which y'all might never know nothing about. We got NHL. We got soccer. Shout out to my boy KDR who be running things in the soccer. And we got boxing. But, you know, the bread and butter is boxing. For all the new Johnny Says insiders, to get the Discord link, it's in the community members post on YouTube. What I was getting at, though, is I want to try to find without getting tagged. I'll put this up real quick. I want to try to find that because everybody's sending me everyone's sending me Haney working the jab. All right, you're sending me Haney working the jab against Jose Ramirez, the 33-year-old Jose Ramirez. That version that's not a 24-year-old Jose Ramirez. That's a 33-year-old Jose Ramirez. If you know anything about his career, his style, it does not age well. You know, go to the Maurice Hooker fight. He won the fight. He took a lot of freaking damage. Wasn't the same guy. If you're going to show that jab over and over, show the time when Haney's jabbing and drops his right hand, it gets countered. You know, because he does have a problem. He has a problem with this. He'll go like this. He'll go like this. You know, Norman's going to be here, here. Well, it's going to be a fun fight, man. It's going to be a fun fight. Let me show you something real quick. And this is probably going to support you Devin Haney fans. I'm trying to find the Boca Chica knockdown. You guys can probably pull it up on YouTube. My point is, it was freaking brutal. No, I can't. He gets caught with a choppy ass right hand that was brutal. He's made adjustments since then, though. I like the adjustments he's made. Salute, Johnny. I think the secure bet would be the over because if it would Haney survive. Yeah, Haney's a dog, man. Haney knows how to survive. Haney's a dog. I'm getting Norman a plus money. I'm taking Norman a plus money. I'm not going to get sexy with it. I'm not going to try to pick a method of victory. Sure, some of the boys are going to look genius when they pick Brian by knockout or Devin by points. But I'm here to make money. You know, I'm here to I hate losing bets. And the longer you're on my channel, you'll know that. We went 21 for 21 last week. We hit a 15-legger last week. The week before, we hit Tiger Johnson. My point is, at this stage of the game, I'm just doing my best research to give you guys winners. And I'm not picking Brian because I hate Dev. I've watched Dev's career, man. At 20, he just turned 27. Great resume. I just think when we're talking about where these fighters are going, it just, I don't see Dev having, I don't know, man. Maybe I just don't have faith in him having another one. You know, when was his last viral moment? You know, this is what I like talking about. When was Devin Haney's last viral moment? All you Devin Haney fans, let's hear it. Talk to me. When he stopped Zaire Abdullayev in 2019, was that his viral moment? Stopping Zaire Abdullayev in 2019 at 135 pounds? That was his last stoppage win. Was it outpointing Loma in a fight which I had him losing on the cards? Was it his victory over Ramirez? What do we do? Was it him beating George twice? Where's his viral moment at? Viral moments, Johnny, they don't matter. They definitely do matter. A fighter's confidence. You're talking about a Brian Norman Jr. who had knockout of the year candidates, what, 2 years in a row? Standing on business knockout, dude? Jesus Christ, dude, the Geo. That Geo, where he's just out here doing the prison. Ever have a boy from prison or a friend, a mate from prison send you a card and they always do that pose where they're out here like this? It's like, why are you in that pose? Everyone's all chilling. The one boy's like, Brian Norman Jr. did the jail pose on him. And then what he did to Sasaki, he did the, whoo! Devin better be on his P's and Q's, boy. Do you know why Brian said he was gonna tear his knee? Does anybody know that? Why do you think he said he was gonna tear his knee? Johnny, I just joined the Discord. What's up, Joey? My guy. I have Mason winning that fight. I do. I just did my tape. I'm uploading it. I just did my tape on Sam. I am high on Sam. Sam lost his first pro fight. Been undefeated since. A little bit older than Abdullah. You have Sam's an ortho. Mason's a Southie. You got a guy in Abdullah Mason who's special. Fat, twitchy, head movement, does everything, has that power. He's a dog, young, listens to his corner, married to the game. Sam Noakes, same sort of thing. He's not as gifted. The thing I think that will be Sam Noakes' undoing is his head on the center line and his lack of head movement. He's not going to be like that guy. He's going to be that guy. And when you're doing this guy with Mason and you're not pulling, or I think Abdullah's going to catch that real quick. I like look, my bread and butter is money line fights. My bread and butter is money line fights. picking 50-50 fights and picking dogs. 4 weeks in a row with the dogs. Kameda beating Casemiro, Tiger beating Flaz. Those are both dogs. We just took Connor Ben at plus money over Chris in the rematch. And then 3 fights ago, I just posted it. Those are my strengths. I'm not going to sit here and tell you my strength is picking method of victories. I know what my strengths are in terms of making that money. I could see it going under. I don't like selling fighters short though. Like I don't want to disrespect Sam like that. But I do like Mason by stoppage. What's up, Johnny? Can Norman slip a fast jab? The only time you got to slip a fast jab, King of Fitness, is if the dude throwing the jab isn't on his bike. You're telling me that you guys like that? You like Devin throwing that jab on? He's on his bike the entire time. I mean, if anything, will he have to slip the jab, or will he go winky right with it here and try to induce a clinch fight? That's what I'm thinking. I bet you Norman Jr. is probably thinking the same goddamn thing. There's one thing with walking into a stiff-ass long jab, like a Kelly Pavlik jab, or you're on your bike just tattering, that sort of thing. Now, we've seen the trauma in Devin's feet, man. So if I'm, Norman, you don't really have to slip the jab. Get the timing down, get your range down. He's, even watch some of his guard work against Sasaki when he's forcing that shit in the pocket. Here, he wasn't doing that against Janelson. He wasn't doing a lot of that against Santillan. He's added that little bit to his game. Damn, how good was Winky Wright? Boy, Winky Wright. Shit, did you guys ever see Winky Wright versus Paul Williams? Watch the Winky Wright fight versus Paul Williams, boy. Paul Williams, mate. When Paul Williams was cooking, he was freaking special, dude. Long, Southie, hitting combos in the pocket like here, boom, here. Oh, God, mate. Y'all got to get to work. We got to get to work. Most of Norman's stoppages happen versus flat-footed bar brawlers. I know where we going, Julius. Tell me more, big dog. Tell me more. Haney always does that bow and arrow jab. Yeah, I don't like Haney's right hand either, man. Haney's right hand is so suspect to me. I always talk about it. Haney's right hand is like, and he leaves his. So like, if you're a technical, I love the technique. Like day one of like throwing your backhand would be here. I was always taught that like we have our two weapons, our hands. Our 3 and 4 are our shoulders. Right? So you never want to throw a right hand, a backhand with space between your chin and shoulder. So when you're deciding to throw that right hand, you're throwing it and you're here. So a lot of guys like Devin who are super skilled and world-class athletes, and you tend to you get away with bad habits and you never address them. I talked about this on my first live stream. A guy like Deontay Wilder who comes into boxing late. He walked into a boxing gym, I think in Alabama when he was 21, and in 2 years he wins the bronze medal in the Olympics. He just happened to have lightning in his hands. So he never worked on anything else, never worked on his feet, never worked on setups, none of that. He relied on it, and it got him to where, he was one of the most devastating punchers until it didn't work. And, then we know how, still, an amazing career for what he did. But my point is, when you're God gifted in certain areas, you tend to not work on other things. And the last place you want to be found out in those holes is on the world level. And I think that Haney's speed and his jab and reflexes always were so great. He never had to just sit down on that right hand. Like, this is where he gets countered at. His right, he throws his 1-2, like his 1-2 is not nice. He's like this. He's like, it's not. Watch it. Watch his tape. He's not. For how skilled he is, it's not like his tape will blow you out the water. Like I said, when you watch Shakur operate, you watch Devin operate, they're both fast, but Shakur is a painting. Shakur is so classy out there in everything he does. So the comparisons about Shakur versus Devin are actually insane to me. From a technical standpoint, a composure standpoint, seeing everything, vision, catch, and shoot, like Jesus. Fucking hell. Nobody compared, right? Shakur Stevenson, joy to watch. And in a totally different light, Bam Rodriguez, who's fighting this weekend, joy to watch. Different story, different style, but in the same sort of vein, somebody who's operating with what they have at the highest freaking level. You're going to have to be a very freaking special guy to beat Bam Rodriguez. Very, very special. I don't know if that's going to happen. He might retire undefeated. It might be one of these stories where he has to go up 2 divisions to lose, but he's fighting this weekend. Abdullah Mason, a young kid, dude, 21, 22 years old. Special, special talent. This card is filled. David Benavidez, man, light heavyweight, his hand speed, his engine, the dog he got fighting a really tough Anthony Yard. We haven't talked about it enough. Yard's been stopped twice. You know, it's people aren't really giving Yard that much interest. Bro, dude, he's a big dude. He could crack, he could punch. He does fade. I'm definitely taking Benavidez in this fight. I'm definitely taking Della in this fight. I'm definitely taking Norman in this fight. And who else we got on the card? Who did we not mention? My man Usyk, it's been a while since I first saw you. Prado's knockout was scary. Oh, it was beautiful. I watched that card because I wasn't able to get the VPN to watch the top rank card in Mexico with Lindolfo Delgado and Goyaz. So I was watching the UFC, man. Dude, both of his homie had a scary ass knockout too. The crazy thing about Protest's work, it was just a straight punch, and it caught Leon straight on that button. And I don't like seeing veterans get knocked out cold, man. That's the thing about the UFC is they freaking eat their veterans, bro. The UFC just eats their veterans. That's not for me. Obviously, I watch all the fights. I didn't like. What I'm saying is, I didn't like seeing. I'm not like a diehard Leon fan. I do like his striking. He's a smooth striker. I just don't like seeing vets. I don't really like seeing anybody get knocked out cold, to be honest with you. I'm not in it. I'm not in the game for that. You said it. You said it. Julius. Julius, Julius, Julius. Julius, Julius. Makey, Jordan Dean, Turkey said, bro, I know that you know that I know that you know they didn't ask for this fight. Anybody who is spinning this narrative and throwing frisbees out on social media talking about that the Haneys asked for Brian Norman Jr. Shit, they did not ask for Brian Norman Jr. They didn't ask for this fight. Do I think dude, there's no such thing setting up somebody to fill if you're really that dude. I think Devin, look, will I be upset if Devin wins? No. And if you're new to my channel, this next statement will probably also confuse you. Even though I'm betting super heavy on Brian, even though I freaking hate losing, I put a lot of energy into what I do. I like winning all my bets, not even for the money. I'm just competitive. If Devin pulls this out, I'll be happy for him, 100%. I'll be happy for him. All the shit he's been through, man, he's still so young. It'll be good for him. And the only way you could ever set somebody up is if you think you're putting them in a position that they're not prepared. Devin Haney's going to be freaking prepared, man. You've seen his training videos. I just don't think... I don't want to say manufactured. I don't want to see... I don't like... Who are his best wins? Who were they against? Were they in their prime? His best... You know, how old was Regis when he fought him? How old was Loma when he fought him? What weight classes did they fight at? What were the rehydration clauses? How big was Devin? Was he really fighting in his right weight class? Did he really win this fight? Did he really win that fight? Like, all this shit about his career, you could say what you want to say about his career. He thinks he can win this fight. Me personally, I don't think he can win this fight. On paper, in 50 years, when we look at his resume, even if he loses the next 10 fights and retires, people will be able to say, damn, Devin fought a lot of great fighters. But right now, you have to do your own research and really look at when he fought these fighters, how did he fight these fighters, which fighters did he really fight, how were they picked for him, all this sort of thing. I'm just saying, I don't think he's as good as... There, I'm going to say it. I've never been on that platform saying he's as good as everybody says he was as good as. In his era, I was always a Shakur Stevenson guy. They're literally the same age, came up through the system, American fighters, when I compare Shakur and Devin, I don't even think it's comparable from a technical, classy, overall boxing bag sort of conversation. You know, I definitely take Haney. You know, he's skilled. He's not the top notch guy in North America though. Like I would take Shakur 10 out of 10 over him. And I think Brian Norman Jr. is better than Haney. I think Brian Norman Jr. does things that Haney wishes he could do. And I think that Norman Jr. is going to showcase that. And I think Norman Jr. Guys, boxing is filled with these sort of stories. Guys that don't get... Dude, how many years did it take Terrence Crawford to get his flowers? How many freaking... Crawford had to go to freaking Ricky Burns in the UK. Crawford, the only place that he could sell out was freaking Omaha for a decade. Top Rank would shelf him. He had to go to other people. So, like, am I going to say that Brian Norman Jr. is going to have a storied legacy style career like Bud? Maybe, dude. It's looking like it could be that. He goes about and operates a bit different way. I like Haney's. I like Norman's style in the ring and out of the ring. I like that Norman doesn't like social media. I like that Norman doesn't like the celebrity style of the game. I like that Norman's wearing just a hoodie in the training and wearing a hoodie for media day. I like that he's looking for his lead hook. I'd say it all the time. He reminds me of a throwback Joe Frazier. You know, me being an old head like myself, I'll be 44 this year. I didn't grow up with social media. Like, obviously, I adhere to it. I got social media. It's kind of ironic that we're talking on social media. But the fighters that I like are like gritty-ass, grimy fighters. I like a dirty, grimy cat. Guys, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here, dude. The chat's going crazy. I'm just catching up, boys. I'm just catching up. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow. We got 2 lives tomorrow. Stay tuned on the channel. I'm gonna